Hey everybody, Chef Jill here. Welcome back to my actual kitchen. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, and it's called a mix fix. So what exactly is a mix fix? It's going to be taking a baking mix or a kitchen mix that's used traditionally for one purpose and using it for something completely different. So today we're actually going to be taking a sugar cookie mix and turning it into something so much more than just plain sugar cookies. So of course sugar cookies are delicious, but there's some real capability in a mix like this. So if you like videos like this and want to see more of them, please leave me a comment down below with what mix fixes you'd like to see, and make sure to like the video. Today for our sugar cookie mix fix, you have to take a look at the back and figure out what ingredients are necessary in order to complete the cookies. This particular cookie dough needs 8 tablespoons of butter at room temperature, or softened as you would typically see, and it needs 1 large egg. You need to be really careful about understanding why those ingredients are necessary in the first place, because it's really easy to come up with something unpalatable and downright disgusting if you're not sure why the butter and egg is in there in the first place. So this particular cookie mix needs that butter and egg component in order to give it that texture. In fact, the flour, the sugar, a lot of the, unfortunately, preservatives are already in here, as well as some flavoring elements. So really we're adding the fat and the moisture in order to make the gluten in this mix come together into something that looks like a dough that then we can form into cookies. So it is possible to substitute out the butter and the egg for other things in order to flavor this a little bit better. So instead of using 8 tablespoons of butter, which is a whole stick, by the way, 8 tablespoons of butter, I'm going to substitute a little bit of a different butter today. I have this amazing banana peanut butter that I got from a local artisan store, and this is peanut butter. It's creamy, regular peanut butter, but it has blended banana into it, and I think it's going to make a really good cookie. It's kind of a peanut butter cookie with a little bit of a banana ting to it, which I love. So I'm going to use 8 tablespoons or half a cup of peanut butter instead of my half cup of butter, which is this. And so we also needed an egg. A typical large egg, this is a nice brown pasture-raised egg, a typical egg is about 2 ounces, 2 liquid ounces between the yolk and the white, split usually about 50-50 or pretty close to being 50-50. So we need 2 ounces of moisture in order to make sure that the cookie comes together the way that it should, but we also need to make sure that there's a little bit of that leavening and that softening agent we talked about. So you can substitute a bunch of different things for eggs, especially if you have a vegetarian or a vegan in the house. You may want to take the egg out and substitute a vegan egg alternative. There are a ton of them now, so it's a lot easier to find an option than it used to be. Today I'm going to do that. Keeping with the peanut butter substitution, I'm removing the dairy, and I'm also reducing the amount of cholesterol in these cookies, because peanuts don't create cholesterol. Only animals create cholesterol. So if you take the butter out, you're removing that element of cholesterol from the cookie and substituting a plant-based fat in its place. So in keeping with that trend, I'm going to substitute an actual animal egg for 2 ounces or so of mashed banana. So this is super ripe banana, but if your bananas look a little bit like mine do in the background, they're a little on the green side, what you can do is actually peel them, put them in a microwave safe bowl, cover them with a little bit of plastic wrap or one of those microwave safe sealers, and then microwave them for about 30 to 45 seconds. And that will soften the banana and help bring out the sweetness so that you'll get that ripened sweetness from them. Of course, if you can use a super ripe banana, that's your best bet. So I'm going to use 2 ounces of mashed banana, and I whipped it with a fork to kind of add some aeration to it to try to get as much fluff out of it as I possibly could. 2 ounces of banana is about 1 medium-sized banana. If you're not sure how much that looks like volume-wise, take the egg and crack it into a bowl like this, see how much volume you have, and then that much banana is what you need. So, easy way to sort of figure that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my bowl here, I have a nice big mixing bowl here, and I'm going to add my cookie mix to it. And then I'm going to add a half a cup of that peanut butter that I talked about before, the banana peanut butter. And I'm going to add my bananas. So I'll be right back when that's all done. Ooh, I'm making cookies on the internet. making banana peanut butter cookies on the internet. Gonna make some more cookies for the internet, but only if you hit the like button below. Alright, so now we have our cookies all mixed and ready to go. As you can see, I've got a nice thick dough here. Holding up real nice. Smells amazing. So what we're going to do, this is a really important part whenever you're working with anything with gluten, including cookie dough, because there's plenty of wheat gluten in here. Please make sure that you actually cover this lightly with plastic wrap and put this in the refrigerator for a half hour to an hour at least. It's actually okay to leave it in the fridge overnight if you'd like to. What that's going to do is two things. Number one, it's going to help relax the gluten, which will make your cookies a lot more tender. And number two, just like when you marinate meat, when you let flavors meld together for a little while, actually creates more flavor out of nothing. So please make sure that you allow this to marinate for a little while before you actually form and bake your cookies. So I'm going to let this chill out in my fridge over here and I'll be back. I've let the cookie dough chill for a little bit. Here it is, nice and solid. So now the flavors have had a chance to really mellow out. They've had a chance for all of the gluten to kind of relax. And now that'll give me a chance to go ahead and get them baking. So before you start scooping them out, make sure you preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're at a different altitude, make sure you use whatever is appropriate for that. I'm going to use a scooper, which I recommend purchasing if you have the option. This will produce cookies that are all about the same size, about the same shape. You can, of course, use an actual tablespoon or just use your hands if you like to. But once the cookie dough has set up, you'll be able to form a nice tight cookie dough in your scooper. Stays in there really nice. And I'm going to actually drop these onto silicone-lined baking sheets. If you're not a silicone fan and you'd rather use parchment paper, you can do that. I definitely recommend lining them with something though, because these cookies will probably want to stick real bad. So we're going to bake our vegan peanut butter and banana cookies for about 12 to 17 minutes, depending on your oven, right in the middle of the oven preferably. Don't put them too far to the bottom or too far to the top on the rack. Once they're starting to brown around the edges and the centers look dry, they are good to go. So make sure you don't overbake these. All right, so my cookies are out of the oven. I've given them a chance to cool down a little bit on the cookie sheet itself, just to kind of crisp up the bottom of the cookie a little bit. And as you can see, I have these amazing, beautiful, huge cookies. It's like 4 inches across. These giant peanut butter banana cookies made from that sugar cookie mix. And as you can see, they are chewy and soft and awesome. So I do hope you try these cookies out in your own kitchen and that you use sugar cookie mix for more than just sugar cookies. So thanks for tuning into this mix fix all the way to the end. I appreciate your view. If you'd like to subscribe for more videos, feel free to click down below to do that. And I'll link to the recipe down in the comments so you can follow along and make these yourself. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen, and I will see you later. See ya!